Find on the Inside was curated to switch the narrative, to show that it's never too late to shift your mindset, heal your heart, and live the life that you truly desire. Sis, you are magic. You just haven't discovered it yet. But in order to get to the goal, you have to do a little bit of digging, getting through all the hard stuff to allow your true self to shine. Because yes, you are beautiful. But how is your soul really feeling? Are you fine on the inside? Hey, you guys, welcome to Fine on the Inside. It's your girl, Jazz, and I am here with my girl, Candace.
What's up?
Hey, Candace. Welcome back, y'all. Candace has already been on the pod one time, so I just want to bring you back so we can talk and chop it up. I feel like behind the scenes, we be talking about a lot of stuff, so I was like, let's get back and talk about some more.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. So I just wanted to get into everything. I want you to just introduce yourself, what you do, what you got going on, and then we'll get into the conversation.
All right, so I'm an essential oil specialist. So I work like from a holistic standpoint, so proper supplementation and just really working one-on-one with people to see like what their health goals are. A lot of times we think we know what we need, but I'm here to point out what you need, actually what your body is telling you that you need. I do aromatherapy techniques, I do herbs, and I also provide resources. So if there's something that I can provide for you, I make sure that I find somebody that can. So I really pour a lot into the clients that I do work with.
Yeah. I love that. And
I've been doing a lot of events.
You've been doing your
showing
thing, girl.
up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I hear that. So how do you use like those techniques on yourself, or you just mostly use it for other people?
I can't use the full technique on myself. I think it's cool that I can massage myself a little bit, but I'm actually looking for people that I can train.
Okay.
So if anybody that's like you don't have to be like an actual massage therapist, but if you're all about self-love and you want to learn a technique, see me. If you're a yoga instructor, massage therapist, or somebody that just likes body work, see me for the technique. Is very reasonable, and it comes with a lot of benefits. So
you'll do like the training and stuff?
You'll get the oils, you'll get the training, the same training that I got.
Okay.
And I also give you 3 sessions where I personally come to you and provide the technique.
Okay. All right, bet. So I just wrote down a couple little icebreakers for us. The one is, what is the best piece of advice you ever received?
See, it's like the best piece of advice at that time. A lot of times, you can't like really receive it.
Yeah.
It sounds like so like cliche. But it really is one of the best pieces of advice is focus on you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I ain't trying to hear that.
Right. Or like
I was
self-love,
not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, cause since the age of like, I would say 14, I was always attracted to like just being with somebody. And I had to figure out where that came from.
Right.
So focusing on me was focusing on somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I did. But now I realized through my process and kept falling on my ass.
Right.
That's not
like focusing
on you
really
means
gotta,
something completely different to me.
Yeah.
It really does. But I feel like you gotta have that experience, those experiences to get you to where you want to be at.
To realize,
You don't want to keep getting knocked down for the same things though. But definitely, yeah.
Sometimes we be hard-headed. Like me personally, I'm very hard-headed. So it took me a couple of times to get knocked down on my ass to be like, all right, I don't want to feel like this no more. Like, I don't want to keep going through the same experiences. So then it's like, all right, it's time for me to make a change.
Yeah.
But until you go through those experiences, and that's why sometimes I go back to everything's working out for us.
Right.
Everything, even those hard times, because it's like, if we didn't get knocked down, we wouldn't be able to evolve the way we did to, have that eye-opening experience to really awaken to what we needed to do. So.
Yeah, and then sometimes just like looking at it from a different perspective, like, is it really you being knocked down, or is it a part of your journey for you to have to go through these different experiences?
Yeah.
I think maybe if you could say you knocked down, if you choose to stay down and not evolve, then you can be like, all right, that's a definite knockout.
Right.
But some things is like designed for us. Like even with me, like when I share with people my experience with like sexual abuse, you know, as crazy as that may seem, though, that probably was meant to happen.
Yeah.
Because I was able to help somebody through that
Right.
experience. Um, so it's just about how you choose to come out the situation,
Yeah.
how you choose to look at it.
Like all about
Pretty much.
perspective.
Yeah, it definitely is about perspective.
For sure.
For sure.
So,
Thanks.
yeah, she is so funny. Like, so the other one is, what's one song or quote that always brings you back to a place of peace when you need it the most?
Mm. You know, I like that song by Alicia Keys. That's How Strong My Love Is.
That's a good song. Yes, wow.
Yes, I really like that song.
That's a good song.
And I listen to a lot of jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen
Like
to
just
a lot,
instruments?
just like instruments. And I listen to, and I like to read, and I like to listen to podcasts. Like one of my favorite top podcasters right now is Rob Dow, the Mindset Mentor.
Okay. You were telling me about him. I gotta check him
dope.
out.
He's really dope. And like I was telling you earlier, like you'd be surprised by you reading and you listening and educating.
Yeah.
People will start to look at you like you the expert because
Right,
everybody's not in the space to do it by themselves.
Right. They want you to just give them that
and they can
information.
receive it better from you versus listening to a podcast or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think I'm in like the season of connecting. So it's connection over sell for me.
I love that.
Connection over sell.
And I feel like the more connecting you do, the more knowledge you gain, and then it just like builds your brand, and then the sales gonna come because you always say like you want to bring value, but when you're doing all that, you are bringing value.
Yeah.
And then people gonna naturally want to buy, whatever we got going on and so forth.
But I was just thinking about this song by Lauryn Hill. The lyric is, what you want might make you cry. What you need might pass you by if you just let it. And what you want, ironically, will turn out what you want to be if you just let it. That's one of my other ones, too, because sometimes we be like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And we be fighting so hard to get something that we not even aligned to have in the first place. And then meanwhile, all these other opportunities is passing us by. But because we like so laser focused on that.
We missing other shit,
Yo, it's deep. The internal battles and conversations that we be having, whether you want to admit it or not, is very deep.
And we really, I feel like sometimes we force things, but it's just like being able to like let go and let God, because God really got the answer for us. And
pause.
Like,
because even when it comes to relationships, like I hear a lot of women talk so many things about men and how men don't show up this way and that. But sis, he told you in the beginning that he couldn't do this for you, but you wanted to stick around,
right,
and think that something magical was going to happen,
right.
And it's like my grandma used to say to me, "You could do this, that, and the third in the bedroom." That's not going to change,
right?
Like if
they don't want it, or they're not in a mindset to give you, that it's nothing that's going to change that.
Then you go around and say like you a liar. He a liar. You ain't. But he told you. But go ahead.
Right. No, I'm about to say that pretty much is like tying into our topic for today anyway, because I wanted to talk about, we're both in a healed space, I would say, for the most part.
Healing. Healer.
Right.
Healing, like not completed, but
exactly. I feel
journey.
Like there's always more work to do, but like it's like, okay, so we're healing, we're doing the work, we've learned a lot of stuff.
Right.
But when we get into new situations, whether that be our new businesses, because me and you both are working on like new stuff, new relationships, it's like, how do we apply what we learn to these new situations? Because it's like you feel like you did all the work and you feel like you're in a space, but when you get into that space, it's like, now you got to put that work to the test. What you gonna do? You know what I mean?
I feel like so if you're used to being with somebody, like let's say that you wasn't aligned with, that same person is going to present itself again. Trust me. It may not be like the same exact person, but it's going to be like a different type of person that's going to present himself with the same patterns, him or her, I would say.
Right.
Since it's a podcast, But then when that situation presents itself, say for example, you meet a guy and you like exchange numbers or whatever, And he like, yo, can you send me a pic? And you like, like inside, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
So then you got to decide like, okay, am I going to keep my boundary or am I sending the pic? So like, that's one example of how you can like start to gauge like inside, inwardly, your intuition will tell you. So then it's up to you to execute. Mm-hmm. And I feel like even with something that small is like saying like, I don't send pictures. Yeah. Or, like, just like, just for the fact that he asked me that, this can't go no further.
And that's like a red flag, or it's showing you like, okay,
yeah, like, and that's your personal red flag. Like, I feel like everybody red flag might be different. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times women, we always go to other women for advice, but you really got to learn how to sit with yourself, because to her, she might be cool with spreading it wide, showing it all. She might have her OnlyFans and she's totally comfortable. That's a big thing. For you, that's not okay for you.
Yeah, like watching who you get advice from, I learned that because like not everybody has done the work. Not everybody is at the same mindset as you. People didn't go through the same experience, so it's like you trying to get advice from your homegirls. They still in a toxic space. They telling you to wild out and do the most and all that. And like you already evolved from that. So, and if you around those type of people, and if your boundaries, your internal is not strong enough, you will do that stuff that you already got past. So it's like, that's such a big point.
But we be knowing, like,
we know
automatically. Like, I feel like a number one sign is when you feel your body freeze up. Like I told you, the situation I had, I was doing this is why I don't like doing my techniques on men. Cause they be doing too much.
Right.
It's just be like, and I'm like, I'm very sweet. I come off like a certain way. And it's like, I'm not going to change that about myself. Yeah. I will just change who I direct that energy to. I'm not, that's one thing I love about myself is the fact that no matter what I've been through, I always keep my heart open. Yeah. I don't, that's just like a core value of mine. So I had a situation where I was doing a technique and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he said this. He was like,
I just cracking up because we had to talk earlier,
yeah, because so it needs to be shared. Like, I can't believe this happened. He like, yo, you look so good. Like, I could see myself really eating you. I'm like, oh, this is unprofessional. Waiver, disclaimer. Every time I meet with like, legit. Because I'm like, it put me in a space. It put me back in a space. It made me feel like that little girl who was being violated again. And I couldn't help myself. That's exactly how I felt. So I had to play it off like, But inside I wanted to say, that's so unprofessional. Like, it's time for me to leave.
Learning, like, having that, like, sense of self to be able to speak up and to honor yourself. Because that's how we keep our nervous system, like, dysregulated. When we're, like, excusing certain shit that we know we're not okay with. It's like, all right, we're doing ourselves a disservice, and then we don't trust ourselves because it's like, you know that we don't like this. You know that we need to set our boundaries, but we're not. So then we're telling ourselves, oh, well, I can't trust myself. That's where the anxiety and all that comes in at, like, just practicing speaking up. But sometimes it is hard because when you're in that situation,
it's definitely hard.
You don't even expect it, and you be like, damn, like, what do I say?
Yeah, first of all, because this is why I'm looking for a space, because I do. Like, my services are personal. So I'll go to you. And so I'm in this person's space right now. And he made that comment. And I just was like, what? Like, so I just wanted to get it. I just wanted to finish it and, like, just leave.
Yeah, because it's
it just made me think, like, damn. Know me, like, relax. But at the same time, it's still a learning experience because, again, when you have a purpose in life and when you know that you're divinely guided in that way, these certain situations have to happen because you're being required to step up. Yeah, for sure. It's like you have to because you have a responsibility in a sense to other people in the world that you haven't met yet. Yeah,
you do have a responsibility, and it's like things are going to come at you from different ways. But like we were kind of talking about a little bit yesterday, like, all these things are preparing us. You know what I mean? Like, even the things that are, like, weird like that or, money issues. Yeah. All of this is, like, preparing us because it's, like, one of these days, shit really gonna pop off. And it's, like, we gotta be grounded enough mentally, like, strong enough mentally where we can deal with that. Because if somebody approached you like that in that type of situation, you know what I mean? It's, like, imagine when you get bigger, like people might try to really push it. You know what I mean? It's just like you never know. People may try to get over financially, whatever it is. It's like these little situations that we go through are really just preparing us for like the bigger picture. I feel like so. Yeah, it's just something I feel like we gotta deal with. But I just wanted to get back to yeah, like how we can approach situations like in a heal way, because I feel like while we're doing the work, it is easy to forget the work that we put in sometimes.
It can definitely be challenging to do so, but what I've started to do is take steps to my daily routine. So, I do have a morning routine. I do have a nighttime routine. I do have these things put in place. I feel like once you find things that you're seriously compassionate about, and you're really consistent and pivoting yourself into those compassions, it becomes less challenging to allow yourself to be distracted. Even when I do become distracted, I remind myself like, yo, like, you got this going on. Like, you don't need to be doing this right now because remember you got to get up at 5 tomorrow. Remember that, Candace? Remember you said you was going to work out. So if you're doing this, how are you going to work out? So I have this app called Calm. So anytime I'm feeling like anxious and I feel like my lower self wanting to like do something that I know that's not going to benefit me, I've been putting on this Calm app. And I didn't know how much I like bedtime stories, but I do.
Oh, nice.
So good. It's so good. And I literally just like have ocean waves on, and I'll put the Calm app on my phone and just go soothe myself to sleep. And that anxious side of me that's like wanting to do something else calms down.
Wow, yeah.
No, it may sound like a small step, but it's for me.
It's like a form of meditation.
For me. And the other thing is like when you do show up for yourself, I am very much more equipped to show up for my kids, to show up at work.
Yeah.
Because work ethic is key. Because if you can't have work ethic in your job now, whether you work for somebody or for yourself, you're not going to have work ethic in your business. So it's just like all these little elements that come together. And it's, a community is everything. Like with the self love challenge that you did. That deserves a clip.
Thanks, girl. So. Yeah, you really be having me cry.
So, but that really helped pivot. Like, I didn't realize how much that pivoted me. So I just want to take a second, like, to say thank you to you and Jay for doing that, because it really has helped me tremendously. And I'm getting a lot of good feedback and really feeling like a different level of confidence on, like, what I'm doing. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for even participating.
Yeah,
like, you really been at it. I'm like, yes, Candace.
I'm like, I'm doing a real
giving
and
me
a story.
Ideas. Yes, I love that. And you really pouring into yourself. I feel like that's important.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
When you said about your routine and stuff, that's one thing that I try to do too. Like, I've been working out, staying like on my business stuff. On Tuesdays, we be running and stuff. But just me showing up for myself, it helps me approach any situation with still like strong self-love. Because like I'm putting myself first. Like I can make time for other things, other people, but it's like I gotta come first. And I feel like that's like a big thing in approaching anything in like a healed way, or from a healed perspective. It's like that self-love, put yourself first, because you're not going to tolerate anything if you have a high standard for yourself. You know what I mean? You're not going to tolerate just any business deal, or you're not going to tolerate just any relationship, because it's like, I done put this work in. I done already dealt with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm showing up for myself enough where I expect you to show up for me, or I expect, this business to go how I expect it to. Like, we set our non-negotiables. So I feel like that's really important to do.
When it comes to self-love, it's deeper than having a glass of wine or taking yourself to get your nails done or buying your favorite pajamas. I feel like self-love is doing the things that you don't want to do.
Yes, doing the
it's
hard
discipline.
Shit. Yes.
That's what self-love
really,
is.
Yes, that's what really
You're like,
shows.
oh, I love myself. I'm going to go have me a glass of wine, even though it's like 1,000 calories and it's full of sugar. I love myself so much. No, maybe try doing something the opposite of that.
Right, or I love myself so much, I'm going to try to fall back from
it. Right, a little bit.
That's what's the real challenge going to be. That's really like showing up for yourself in the hard ways, getting up. Like I be trying to do these 4 a.m. wake ups, like to get to the gym. It'd be hard, but it's like that's really self-love. Like really showing up for yourself, showing yourself you are worthy enough to feel good. You're worthy enough to show up for yourself, to do the hard work. Like if you could, we put in work for people all the time. Like, oh, I put them before me, or our kids, our jobs, everything. But it's like to show up for ourselves. It's like, yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something.
Self-love.
I'm gonna tell you something. Now, this is just me, just my personal opinion. Maybe other people may be like, yeah, I could see that if you're being honest with yourself. A lot of times we tend to show up for other people because it's an insecurity within ourselves that we're trying to fill, but we'll come off in this facade like, how can I help you? How can I help you? I just want to help you.
Yeah, but it's really
but you need something back in return from that.
Yeah.
That's why you could get so latched on with trying to like be in somebody else's space.
Yep.
Stop trying to invite yourself in other people's spaces and figure out your own space.
And that's why we be so mad when people don't reciprocate what we do, because we have alternative motives. You know what I mean? Because we think, like, oh, like, yeah, I'm doing this because I want to be a good person. Like, no,
girl, please. Child, stop.
You gotta be accountable. Take accountability and understand, like, you can't just. That's a type of manipulation.
Yo, for real, like crazy.
It really is, and I feel like I could see, like, before I used to be like consider myself to be like a people pleaser, but no, I feel like at some degree, like, I wanted to make people happy, but really, some of it was probably for self-gain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, well, if I'm nice to everybody, like, they gonna do shit for me, or whatever the case was at the time, you know what I mean? But it had to take me, like, you don't even really want to do that stuff. So why are you going out your way to try to do certain stuff? And then it's like, then when it's not reciprocated, now you want to be all mad and shit.
We got some crazy sides to us, child. Because if I'm like, say for example, like if I'm a massage therapist and I'm in a room, and then another massage therapist come in, and you sit up there and say, oh, I just love your service. I'm like, girl, shut up. Like, I'm the best massage therapist. Like, you should only like my service.
Right.
Like, that is not okay. So that's where you got to be like.
But that's like, that just shows that.
The lack of insecurity can have you like that.
Yeah. But that also just shows, like, even though I would consider, like, both of us to be, like, healers in some degree. You know what I mean? Like, we both doing that work and trying to help other people. But also, we real people. You know what I mean? Like you said, we're healing. We still got shit that's going to surface. And that's why I came up with this topic, because it's like, sometimes you don't know that you still got other triggers until you in it.
Yes, so true.
Stuff comes up, and then you're like, dang,
no, I don't want to address it. Leave me alone.
Like, oh, damn.
I don't want to go back that far. Like,
right.
Bringing up the sexual abuse, like, I always used to tell myself, like, it wasn't a big of a deal because it wasn't rape. It wasn't this. Like, I will always downplay it. Like, I'm fine. Like, I don't need therapy. Like, I'm cool. Like, I'm not the only one. It's like, how many people have been molested? Like, get over it. But now that I'm, like, you know, in this process, I'm like, damn, like, I really was impacted by it. Yeah. I really seriously was mentally impacted by it. And that's probably where some of my attributes of attachment came from. But I'm happy to be aware of it, because now I have the opportunity to correct it and form healthy attachments.
Right.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And I think it's big that, you know, you're aware of it, because some people, they truly never want to be aware because it's so much. And it's like, it's easier to turn a blind eye. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you were able to unpack that, deal with it, you know, that's so big, because there's so many people out here who just choose to, you know, not deal with it. And that, I get it, why they wouldn't want to. Yeah. But it keeps a hold on you. And it's like, you have already, like, gotten so far and, like, evolved so much. And that wouldn't have happened if you didn't unpack those things. Yeah. Didn't deal with it and all that. So, shout out to you for doing that, because that ain't light work.
No, it's not light. It's not light at all.
Yeah. But just back to the topic, I feel like like we were saying earlier, boundaries. I feel like that's so important for us to set. And we were talking earlier, I always go back to the being by yourself. being by I know you said yeah, whatever. But being by yourself, I feel like sometimes we need some time to ourselves. Like I feel like I used to be a person who used to be very codependent. I always used to want somebody around me, and it took me to be by myself to realize, like, okay, it's really not that bad. I'm pretty lit, and like now I'm not so forced, or I'm not so drawn to just be with anybody for any reason. It's like, okay, I already been with myself, so I'm not scared of having that alone time anymore. So it's like, if I'm approaching a situation, it's because I actually want to, not because, oh, I just need companionship, or, oh, I just need somebody around me. It's because I want you around me, or you bring value, or whatever it is going on. It's from like a whole different
I'm sorry,
space.
I'm having so many thoughts right now.
That's okay. You can say whatever you want.
No, you good. I'm just not there yet all the way. Transparently speaking, I don't mind being by myself. I'm embracing, the phase of not having like that, like being completely locked in. But hey, I don't know if I just say this, but listen, a little tap on the shoulder with the right one. That might be value for this phase of my life. No. I'm just saying we don't gotta be locked in, and I'm not saying that I'm just out here doing that with anybody, but I'm just saying I know I'm not the only one. I'm just saying,
that's true.
This is what I want. I'm gonna tell you what I want. All right, because I don't necessarily want to be locked in, but I do want to be with somebody that's okay with just having one. Like, I don't want to have multiple sexual. I just want to have one person that I can be intimate with. He call me up. We go out. Right. We build each other's business. And we don't got to be up each other's ass all the time. Just call me sometimes throughout the day. Yo, what's up? Right. I just really want that right now. Yeah. I would really like that right now because I am so locked into myself and my kids and invest in myself and my kids that I don't necessarily want that whole, what do you call it? Brady Bunch? I don't want that. Yeah. I don't need that. But we can definitely work towards that. Mm-hmm. But intimacy, go out. Right. Like build each other's business. Yeah. Like, woo, 5 stars.
We all want, I feel like we all want love. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like love is just a natural thing that we want. But just making sure it's what we want and not that we're just settling or overlooking anything. Absolutely. Because it's there. Absolutely.
And I think the more I deal in these spaces, I'm not lingering in things as long as I would have. Yeah. And I'm like being more brave and approaching and being mindful of how I approach. So when you're having difficult conversations with somebody, you still want to aim to be respectful. Yeah. When you're having the communication. No, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of times, especially us as females, we'll like have these things building up. Yeah. And then we'll like be passive aggressive, thinking like, because I honestly don't feel like the men care. Like, honestly, like 50% or more of the time, they'll text you, and if you want to act funny, okay, you know how many? Please, don't think too highly of yourself. I think the mature thing is if you have a situation with somebody that you really, truly like, just have the conversation and see where that person is. And that conversation, the sooner you have it, it'll let you know how y'all should move forward. Right. But a lot of times we wait till the last minute, we let it build up, and then it's real random, and it's real disrespectful and real unladylike. And if you think that a man that loves himself is going to tolerate that, then you'll find out it's not going to happen. Excuse me?
Exactly.
No, so.
But yeah, no, that's for real. And I feel like us holding stuff in, it's like it just causes for disaster. Like we have to, but also not be. It depends on which perspective you're coming from, because like we can come from like a insecure state, or we can come from a confident, this is what I want, this is what I need state. It's like, okay, if you need this or you want this, voice that, and then that's it. If he fucks with you, he should change it, or depend on what y'all decide, whatever. But you know, y'all should like compromise or whatever y'all need to do. Now, if you're coming from like an insecure, like toxic state and you're just kind of like nagging, like just to like always kind of like bring something up, it's like, all right, what is the goal here of us mentioning it? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when we say stuff, it should have like meaning to us. Like, this is really something that bothers me, or you know, I'm not just projecting on you because this is what my ex did.
Right.
But we gotta keep that in mind too. Like, people are different, and it's like if we want to be open and we want things to work out for us this time, we can't look at all men the same.
No.
Or all women the same. Like, oh, that person did that to me. Well, this person gonna do that to me too. Like, yeah, we should use discernment. We should be, you know, mindful of the red flags and all that, but also just knowing like everybody not the same.
Right.
And what that person did to you don't mean that the other person won't do that to you. But that's hard. It's hard because when you see certain things, it's like, I'm scared. I'm scared to get back out in the dating because it's like, damn, I'm not trying to heal again. Well, I'm not trying to get hurt. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, do I take this risk? Or do I just...
You could take your time.
Right.
You could definitely take your time and get to know somebody. That's okay.
Right.
And I feel like our self-conscious is always going to, because it's programmed in us after having so many experiences,
right,
that it's always going to be present. But that's okay. That's when you can evaluate, like, sometimes before we even say something to somebody else, rather it be for a relationship or work, like, kind of like figure it out on your own first.
Yeah, that's important.
And have the conversation with your own first. But 2 words that you mentioned that I don't know if you are aware of, should, and that's a demanding word. So that's one. So sometimes should is like, you should have done this. You should have.
Right.
It's like, that's very demanding. So what I've been, and I read that somewhere in the book, it's called You Are What You Think. Mm-hmm. And they talk about different words that we say to ourselves, like, I should have did this, I should have did that.
Right, yeah.
So when I'm approaching a situation with somebody, I may say, it would have been nice, you know, if this would have happened. And it just kind of gives it like a more, it sets the tone, like it sets the energy different. I feel like
that's a really
it's like, because sometimes we have these expectations.
And people never even said they wanted to do that or that they could do that. So it's like, you're right, like you shouldn't use like words like that. Like, you should do this. Like, no.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice if I would have made it to the gym by 4, but I didn't make it to the gym by 4 today, but I'm going to try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And move forward.
Yeah, and I feel like that gives like better, it sets a better tone.
It definitely does. It definitely does.
Do you remember what the other word was?
You had said should, and I don't remember what the other word.
Did I say they should do this or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had said it though. Just should, and just replacing should with it would be nice.
Okay. Yeah.
So like, it would be nice if you got me some. I remember I told this one person, and I shocked myself, and I was like, you know what would really make me happy right now? He was like, what? I was like, I really want some honey grow. Mm-hmm. It would be really nice. Like, it would make me so happy if you got me honey grow. And then I got a Cash App. I was like, oh.
Right.
Well, because I'm not, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm just trying different things.
I could see where somebody would say, you should give me some honey grow.
Like, yeah, you know like, what? Like, no. It would make me so happy if you got me honey grow.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to start using that.
Yeah.
It would make me so happy.
And he might be like, well, you better go get it. But.
Well, great. Go to the store.
And that's cool, too. But it's nice. It's nice when I think we take for granted, like, just the simple things. Like, do you think about the process of somebody texting you? Like, what that process is like before you get the text? So that person actually thought about you first.
Yeah.
Then they picked up their phone. Mm-hmm. Then they typed. Right. Then they hit send. Then they replying. Like, that shows, like, I think it's the little things, like, you know, sometimes I might say to somebody, I really appreciate you for showing up for me the best way you know how. Thank you so much. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
like, it's the little things, because then you realize it, like, when you don't hear from that person, you start, I know I would, I start thinking about, like, damn, like, I remember when I used to get the text messages, Like I know that like he got so much other stuff going on. He didn't have to text me. He didn't have to check in, but he was doing it.
Right.
And then so like you really just appreciating the small things.
Yeah,
and
like
I
not
even
taking
say
those things for granted.
Yeah, and it's like not even about money for me. It's about sincere effort.
Yeah,
it's like you know if you was to pull up on me like yo like we about to go get a water ice and go by and go look at the moon.
Right. Yes, girl.
I'm like oh stop playing.
Yes, I love me some outside and some car conversations. Like, yo, I don't need too much, but like
yeah, super sweet. I just love it.
Yes, like the actual like effort. And just like the thought of it, like damn, like somebody actually cared enough to, you know, do that for us. It's just like
Because you know what I feel like, especially like, because I definitely want to be with somebody that has their own type of business going on. Because one of my first questions would be to somebody is, how can I help you? How can I add value to your life? And then I would want the person to ask me the same thing. How can I help you? How can I add value to your life?
Right.
And so it's like, if you say to me, okay, I'm selling this microphone right here. This is my business. I sell microphones. Yo, we about to turn it up.
Period. That's how I be.
So I don't care about it. Like I'm about to invest, and we about to have the best microphones out there. Like, so that's the type of person I am, and I feel like you know what, it's okay for me to want that reciprocated back in return. Sure. Where before I was all focused on like me doing everything, and I felt like that's where that made me happy, but. In the long run, it didn't make me happy. It made me feel burnt out.
Yeah.
And I felt burnt out.
You deserve to have that, like, reciprocated. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I am. If I'm talking to somebody that have a business or whatever, like, let's figure this out. Or I'll help you whatever way we can. Like, I do graphics. Like, we gonna figure some shit out. Or, you know what I mean? Or you can help me out in whatever way. I feel like that's real important, especially the place that a lot of us are in our lives. We're trying to grow and evolve, and it's like we really don't want somebody who's just gonna like just be in our space and not care about what we got going on and really want to see us do better. You know what I mean? Like we want that, and like we gonna want them to do better too for the most part. You know what I mean? But it's like that's so important.
It just made me think. So the guy that I thought I mentioned this, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this. They asked for a picture earlier, right? And I'm like, yo, I don't send pictures of myself, but like, you know, I can send you a picture like of my setup. And he was like, nah, I just like wanted like a chill, laid back pic. I'm like,
hey boy, bye. Like, how about you say something about my business? Cause that's
that's what would really turn me on. Like,
right, exactly.
I'm not sending you no picture. Right. I don't even take. Like, I'm very like I have so many different sides to me, but I don't even take pictures of myself like that in my phone anyway. But if you want to talk professional, like business, if you want to know what's the number one thing that turned me on, to be like, wow, somebody like, give me a panty liner, cause I'm a little. No, let's talk about business.
Yes,
that's like, going to do it.
Somebody who could teach me something that's really like, or like have my mind first. You know what I mean? Like, don't just be all cringy and like.
And don't be easy. You know how like men don't like easy women.
Right.
I feel like it's so attractive when you see a man and he just like so content, like he's not pressed.
Yeah.
It's because there's a lot of attractive women out here. It really is a lot of beautiful women. So it's like I want my guy to be selective on who he's choosing, and I want him to question me, to probe me, and do all those things.
Right.
Don't just accept me just because you think I look good.
Right.
Really find out about me.
Like, am I valuable?
Yeah, find out.
Can I bring like value to you?
Yeah.
Like, do I align with your mission?
Yeah.
Like, do not just
find out.
Doing whatever, because it's like, well, that just shows like the type of people, the type of person like you are. Like, okay, you'll just do whatever. Let me just get out of here now, because.
And then when you accept it, it just shows you how far along you are in your journey.
Or how much you
like,
value yourself.
So it's like, okay, so I thought I might have been here, but I just accepted this, so I might not be as far as I need to be. But that's okay. Again, it's all about observation. And I think the most beautiful thing is being able to correct your own self first.
Facts,
like, being able to correct yourself before somebody else points it out. Even if somebody does point something out in me, if I've already corrected it myself, I'm like, you know what? You're right. Yeah. I can see how that may look. It's actually good once in a while if somebody that you trust to go to them and ask them, what are some of the bad habits you see in me? Like, where are some ways you think I can improve as a person? Like, get that feedback from somebody you trust and somebody that has a sound mind. Yeah. Which is why I like hanging around people who know like are more advanced in business for me. Yeah. Or somebody that's, kind of like in a different space so that I can like, look to them in certain ways. And I think even when it comes to mentorship, everybody needs a mentor. I don't care if you're a billionaire, trillionaire. Yeah. Like, everybody needs a mentor, and you need to be able to respect the person that you speak to.
Yeah, for sure.
Confide in. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. Like, just having somebody who's genuine and also, like, wants to see you do good. Like, I feel like, and by us, I feel like me, you, like, everybody we've been around, like, we're just surrounding ourselves with people who, like, kind of want the same thing, or we're all on like similar missions. And it's just like real like empowering. Like, me personally, like, I'd be looking at everybody, like, sometimes I might not want to like work out. I'm like, dang, I already signed up, I already committed to this and that. Me before, I'd be like, I'm not doing that. But it's just like showing up, seeing how everybody else shows up, it like inspires me. Like, damn, girl, you better get to that gym, or you better do that. You know what I mean? Like, why not show up for yourself? And, you already committed to it. So these people are, they're looking to you as somebody who's trustworthy, like honorable. You want to follow through with your commitments, and also like to them and to yourself. Like, you said you was going to do this, so you deserve to show up for yourself and, follow through with what you said. Keep those promises that you said to yourself.
And the sticky notes thing, like when you have goals, put them on sticky notes around your house, on the fridge, on the bathroom, in your car, just to give yourself a reminder. On the fridge, like on my fridge, I have a thing on my fridge that say no sugar, right? Biggest day, like limit. I didn't say no sugar. I said limits. I made sure I was selective because I do have sugar here and there, but limit sugar. So it's on my fridge, so it gives me like a mental reminder. And the more you see it, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. Yeah. If I don't talk to you, I'm not going to remember your name. If I'm not saying, yo, what's up, Jazz? I'm going to be like, hey, girl. Hey, girl. But I need to be saying your name. So it's like, you got to see it. You got to see it. So with your goals, just write them out, whatever they may be. Yeah. Is what I would recommend.
Yeah, that's something that I've been trying to do like more often lately. And just, I'm like a visual person. So being able to see like what I got going on.
So you know how we always talk about men, right? But I had this one moment where I didn't mention the man not one time. And I was talking to a mentor, and she was like, what do you want? Where do you see yourself in the next year? And I listed like 10 things. Travel, have my coaching business established, this, that, have a vacation house over here. And then I said everything, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't say be married. Yes. I was like, yes, girl, because I feel like we get so like, caught in with like, I just gotta have a husband. Like, but I realized like we talked about earlier, and I'm not saying it's wrong, not okay. Of course, I would like to have a partner, but that's not like, I'm not making that a part of my existence. It's like I have this, and then having a partner will be like the silver lining. Yeah. But I was like really impressed by myself.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah.
I'm like, yo.
And that's the thing, like I've read that somewhere, and it was like a lot of us are starting to decenter men. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times men are like the center, and then it's like we figure out our lives around them, or what we can do to be attractive to a man, or what we can say for a man, or how we can look, or do all that stuff, you know what I mean, for men. But it's like once we decenter them, it's like, damn, okay, what can I do for myself? What can I do, to make myself feel better, whatever. And it just gives your life more meaning, and it helps you look at things like a different way.
And I'm not saying that, because I just want to make this very clear. Men are like very important. Yeah. It's just how you go about the approach. And
yeah, like they should be a bonus though, not like our every like meaning to our lives. Like, we have to have sense of self. Like, that's important.
Right.
Like,
even from a spiritual aspect, okay, for people who believe in the story about Adam and Eve, when Eve was presented to Adam, Adam already had his foundation set. He was already centered in himself. He already knew about the animals, the fruits, and what God had appointed for him to do. He was already actively doing those things, and God saw that he was being depleted and said, "I'm going to give you a help meet."
Wow.
Amen. Hallelujah. No. Come on. No. But no. I feel like I got the Holy Spirit. No, seriously though. So it's like you don't it's about being aligned with your partner. If you are going to choose to have one, being aligned with them is so important, because on a spiritual aspect, Adam was prepared. When Eve came, all she was doing was pretty much all she was supposed to do. Sorry, Eve. Sorry. I'm sorry,
sis.
I'm sorry. It's all right. It's okay, Eve. It's all right. But what her mission was to help him maintain all those aspects. So partnership is amazing if it's partnership.
Yeah.
But when it's not that, then that's where you can have like a lot of gray areas, a lot of room for error.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of women out here now that got multiple kids, and just saying. Yeah. So, sometimes you got to make the bed that you lay in.
Right.
And maybe for you, that may not, that may look different for you, how you move forward in relationships. Because when you have children, you do have to be very considerate of a lot of things. So, yeah. Sometimes you got to make the bed. It's not saying like give up, but you really got to be focused when you're responsible for other people.
Yeah, you do.
Period.
So I just have a question. So like going back to earlier, like the whole approach thing. So say we're like in the middle of these relationships, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think we should do when we get to those old triggers? You know what I mean? Like we think that we healed a certain part of us, but we haven't dealt with it in a while because we might like be by ourselves for a while, or we just haven't had a certain type of partner. So we get to these situations and we have these old triggers. What do you feel like are some ways to kind of deal with that?
Right. Well, before you even approach the situation, you gotta like look inwardly and figure out where the trigger is coming from and why. Right. I feel like the most important question that you can ask is why. So why am I mad? I'm mad because he didn't text me. Why did that trigger you? It triggered me because of this. Why, until you get to the part of figuring it out, right?
Yeah, or like, why is this bothering me?
Why? Leave that other person out of it. It don't got nothing to do with that other person. It does not.
Was it yesterday we were talking? It was like it always comes back to us.
Yeah, it's always.
It really does.
It does. It does come back to us. So that's the first thing. And then if you're having trouble figuring out the why, then that's when you want to seek your coach or your mentor or journal about it. Because I have a lot of mentors. So I would say deal with it. Try to deal with it on your own, either by journaling, asking yourself questions why, maybe giving some space. Yeah. Especially if you're not necessarily locked in, remember that you don't owe anybody an explanation, and it's okay to take a little bit of space, because that other person is definitely going to take space.
Yeah, and I feel like your approach, like slowing down and figuring out, like maybe it's something that you need, like you said, keep asking why, but just understanding like there may be something that you really just didn't deal with yet, or maybe you thought you dealt with it, but this is just showing you, because we do heal from certain things, but then we get into like our new situations, like our businesses, our relationships, and so forth, and then these other things come up. We're like, oh damn, I thought I healed from that, but it's bothering me. So I feel like asking, like you said, asking why, reaching out to our mentors, and just taking a step back from the emotion. You know what I mean? Like, because that can get us cloudy, like the anger, the sadness, whatever it is, the jealousy, anything, it can cloud us and like our logic. I feel like approaching things as women too, like one thing, I'm a very like emotional, sensitive person. So my first instinct is to act like emotionally. But then understanding like some stuff really don't be that deep. And then like if I try to, ask the why questions or approach it in like a logical sense, it's like, okay, Jazz, like not too much. Like you know what I mean? Like it wasn't that deep. But sometimes we gotta ask those questions and take a step back.
Right.
And just think of it in like a more logical approach. But I do feel like as women it is more expected for us to go off of our feelings and emotions. So.
And then when it comes to boundaries, and I know you had asked in the beginning like a question in regards to like self-love, self-care. For me, like now I put my phone on do not disturb. And that's for anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. And that's a little scary for me sometimes because I feel like I'm missing out on something. But it helps me to keep a balance to where I'm not expecting a phone call or a text after a certain time.
Right, yeah.
You know, I'm just like, because I'm already in my routine. So
yeah,
that also helps. So.
Yeah. I feel like, that's important. Like, you gotta have, like, that boundary right there. It's like, all right, this is it. Like, after a certain time or whatever you decide to do, everybody's boundaries look different. But just setting that tone, like, for yourself, it's like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to us, because...
My mouth dry. Your mouth dry?
A little bit.
Child, please. I was like, dang, I ain't bring my water.
I was drinking water while we were talking about
I said, dang, I should have brought some water. God, my mouth is dry.
But no, I'm really grateful that you came on today. I feel like, our conversations always be lit.
Yeah.
I hope people can get a lot out of this because I feel like they will be able to. You're super relatable. So.
Yeah, well, my name is Candace, and my mission is to help you be created new.
Yes,
as I, create myself new. So
yeah, so y'all make sure y'all hit up Candace. She got the aromatherapy, the essential oils.
Yes.
She gives fire massages. Yes. Okay, she healing people out here. So y'all need to hit her up.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Check us out. We are going to be, just taking off and all that good stuff.
Yes,
so thank you, Candace, for coming.
I'm feeling so fine on the inside.
Yes,
thank you.
We not only are helping ourselves be fine on the inside, but, sharing our stories with the world and, hopefully that can help somebody else be fine on the inside.
Absolutely, it will. It will, yeah.
So thank you, girl. Love you, girl.
Love you
all right,
too.
see you guys next time.